Kearney traffic. Power Parachute 5, Quebec Juliet, departing a field 6 miles west of Kearney Regional, flying around the circumference of Kearney at low level 3,500 and lower, and watching for aircraft en route. Kearney traffic. Thank you, God, I get to do this. Now, we're going to check the mags. Clear prop. One mag, two mag, we're good to go. Yep, this is this field here is for me and a small person, a child, not two adults. Not a whole lot of extra runway at the end. Oh, let's see. I wanted to talk about something. What was it? Well, it'll come back to me. I'm going to gain some altitude before we go over Yanni Park here. Make sure we can hear. Any helicopter traffic. I think I was going to talk about how much money can you make giving rides. I can see some people starting to twitch already. And I'm sorry I don't have the FAR/AIM section article memorized, but the answer is 0. Caveat being, if you're a CFI, if you're a DPE, different story. If you're just a regular Joe like me, you're a pilot, you have your sport pilot certificate, you cannot benefit financially. You cannot. Now what you can do is you can share 50%, half of your aircraft expenses with your passenger. And I have to go back, and some of you have this memorized, I don't, but this would be things such as fuel, oil. I don't know if you can, I don't think you can split the like hangar fee. I don't think you can do that. I think it has to do with the maintenance and operation of the aircraft. I have never charged anyone to go with me. I've had some people hand me cash as they left. I'm not in, I mean, no one, I don't think, is in this to make money. This is a hobby. This is fun. So, can you make money flying, being a pilot? If you're a CFI, certified flight instructor, or a DPE, designated pilot examiner, and maybe there are a few other classifications, then yeah, you can charge to give lessons and all that. But if you're just a regular pilot, you cannot. It is illegal to charge a fee. You may share up to 50% of the expenses. I believe that's fuel, oil, maybe a few other things. I should probably read up on that because I know I'm going to get comments. And that's good. Comments are good. Most of the time. Oh. Well, the story from this morning, you don't care what I look like. Let's show you something. We're flying over Interstate 80 right now. This morning, the weather was good. I put my warm gear on because it was 50-some degrees. And I was getting ready to head out the door. Oh, I'm sorry. That was yesterday. Getting ready to head out the door, and I realized my truck was in the shop. That was a bummer. But this morning, I had the truck back. and I headed out, and I did my pre-flight. But as I did my pre-flight, I thought, well, let me just top off my fuel, which I did. But when I did, my brain says, you're putting more fuel in than you should have had to top off. I had given a little girl a ride 2 days previous and had used precious little fuel. I think we went for a 12, 13, 15 minute ride max. And then I had 2 brief flights on either side of that. And I put in 5 gallons. Well, I know for certain sure I didn't fly for anywhere near an hour or over. So I got to looking around, and there was some fuel on the bottom of my tank. Like, what in the world is this? So I got to investigating, and sure enough, it looked like a pinhole in my gas tank. Well, that shuts everything down. So it's kind of a bummer. I went home. I immediately started looking for my siphoning equipment, and I siphoned all the fuel out of the aircraft into 3 different gasoline tanks. And then I began my investigation. Well, at first, it looked like there was just a little pinhole near a weld on the bottom of the tank. Well, I have a little Dremel grinder, and I started grinding around, and then it started looking like, maybe it's along this weld. Maybe it's not just one hole. So, make a long story longer, I texted a friend of mine who is an AI. I believe I'm saying that right. Or IA, I can't. It's not an A and P, it's the one above that. And he doesn't live very far from me, and he said he was working around the shop and stop on by. Well, I was thrilled because I was prepared to wait till at least next week. I don't expect people to just drop what they're doing. Anyway, I cleaned up the area as best I could, picked up a friend of mine who I thought might be interested in the process, and we headed down there, and he said, yeah, there's a little leak along the weld. So I had everything cleaned up, and he has some kind of super sealant. I cannot remember the name of it. Apparently Nissan uses this sealant when they assemble motors, engines. I didn't know this, but at least from his understanding, on some Nissan motors, in some locations on the motor, they do not use gaskets. They use this sealant. So we warmed up the area. He has all the equipment to do everything right. We warmed up the area with a special heat gun he has. When it got